It is a Monday during high school football season, which means I have rankings for you. Again, my name is Cade Nissen, content marketer here at IA Sports. And again, I'm just the middleman. I don't make these rankings. We've got talented rankers for each class, all 7 classes. So shout out to them. And this ranker particularly has had a whirlwind of a challenge ranking these guys. Class 2A, as you can see, Class 2A has been a mess to say the least. 8 of the 16 teams ranked in Class 2A have lost the last 2 weeks. So yes, half of half of our top 16 has suffered a loss in back-to-back weeks. Not an easy job to rank these, so this one has been extremely difficult for him, but he's doing a great job. So without further ado, let's get right into it. As I turn my camera on, boom, there we go. West Burlington, welcome to the rankings. They beat Mount Pleasant last week, 47-28. So they will debut, and now we start our list of teams that suffered a loss last week and still stayed in our rankings. Starting with Minneapolis, they dropped 5 spots. They lost to Sigourney Keota 21-0. New Hampton, they hold down their spot after losing to Clear Lake 48-0. West Marshall, they lose to South Hamilton 48-13. They drop 5 spots. And Northeast, they lose to Central DeWitt 34-7. They actually move up a spot. Central DeWitt, a team bigger than them, class bigger. So that loss doesn't kill you as much as others. In Centerville, they beat Davis County, so they jump up 5 spots. I believe that is our biggest jumper in Class 2A this week, Centerville beating Davis County. Starting at number 10, Cherokee, Washington, our number 1. Ooh, let me turn the top 10 on. There we go. Class 2A, number 10, Cherokee, Washington, our team of the week in Class 2A. They joined our rankings for the first time this year after a 2-0 start. They are outscoring opponents 101-23 on the season. The Braves are averaging 445 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns per game. Impossible to keep them out of the rankings forever, and they make a big jump into our top 10. At number 9, PCM. They drop 2 spots after they lose to number 3, Pella Christian in Class 1A. They lost a tough game. Adrian Robbins ran for 231 yards and 3 touchdowns. Pella Christian, a quality opponent, a class below them, and it was a 1-point game, I believe. So not going to hurt them too much. They will hang out in our top 10 at the number 9 spot. At number 8, Western Christian, they jump up 4 spots. They defeated Hinton to move to 2-0. Tyler Mantell ran crazy for 156 yards and 3 touchdowns. So Western Christian, they jump into our top 10 now at number 8, and they'll hold down that spot. Osage, again, they suffered that week 1 loss to St. Ansgar, a Class A team, but they shut out Garner Hayfield Ventura. A nice bounce back win, 45-0. Max Knudsen led the whole offense with 100 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, while also adding 55 yards and 3 touchdowns rushing. So 6 total touchdowns for Max Knudsen as Osage moves up a few spots after shutting out Garner Hayfield Ventura. Spirit Lake, they lost to Sioux Center at home. Caden Lunt threw for 166 yards and 3 touchdowns. Again, Sioux Center is a team above them in Class 3A, so not gonna hurt them too much. They dropped 3 spots out of the top 5, and they'll sit here at number 6 for this week. Hopping into the top 10, familiar face, Greene County. They were at number 4. They lost. They fell back out of the top 5. They come back and really bounce back against Perry, and so they will jump back into the top 5. So all over the place for Greene County. Jack Hansen had 7 catches for 160 yards and a touchdown in that win over Perry, and as they jump back into the top 5. West Lyon at number 4, they jump up 1 spot. They defeated Lawton Bronson in dominating fashion. Bryson Childress threw for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. West Lyon proven to be a force in Class 2A. Monticello, they're back at number 3. They fell a little bit after losing to number 1 Mount Pleasant in Class 3A, a loss that really you can't knock on them too much just because of what Mount Vernon is. But Monticello with Preston Rise back at number 3 after a shutout win over Beckman Catholic. And this is where the gap kind of is. I think you could argue that that Monticello is a part of that top tier, but it's pretty obvious that Van Meter and Central Lyon, Georgia Little Rock really have a stranglehold on that number 1 and number 2 spot. You can make the case for Monticello again losing to Mount Vernon isn't the biggest deal ever, but yeah, Monticello at number 3, Van Meter at 2, Central Lyon, Georgia Little Rock at 1 as kind of the top tier of teams in Class 2A. Speaking of Van Meter, domination against Des Moines Christian. Austin Baumover accounted for 6 total touchdowns, and Ben Gordon, one of the premier running backs in the entire state, regardless of class, rushed for another 178 and a score. And number 1, Central Lyon, George Little Rock. They took care of business on the road against 3A MOC Floyd Valley. They moved to 2-0 with a matchup with West Sioux on deck. I'm going to pull up stats from that really quick, just because I'm curious. Central Lyon, Georgia Little Rock. We talked about that game as possibly a a trap game for Central Lyon, Georgia Little Rock going up a class, but as you can see, they had no problem. Oh, pull it up. There's no stats in Unbound for them, so can't go into too much depth there, but a 42-7 victory for them as they will get West Sioux next week. So that is all we have for Class 2A rankings. Be sure to leave a comment whether you agree, disagree. What do you think? What are your comments? We want to know. We want to hear from you, and so we can take that into account if needed. So again, appreciate you guys all for listening. Be sure to go check out the other rankings posted today, and have a good one.